Hey, welcome to Good Enough Spanish. Rich B here, and today I just wanted to fire up the camera to talk about something that confuses a lot of Spanish learners, okay? I know it confused me at first, and this is that there are two verbs that means to be in Spanish. There's ser versus estar, okay? So how do you remember ser versus estar? How do you remember which one to use? Just remember this, ser is for things that are permanent or lasting, okay? And estar are things that are temporary. So, for instance, ser, things like your name or where you're from, those are permanent or lasting things, permanent or lasting attributes, permanent or lasting traits, unlikely to change. Like your name is your name and where you're from is where you're from. Okay, pretty concrete. Now, estar, things like temporary traits, temporary conditions, like maybe your location. Your location is subject to change. You might be here one moment, you might be there the next moment. You see? So, not going to go too deep into this with this video, but just want to wrap your head around the subject of this ser versus estar thing. Now, I don't know how people hold up the camera all through the video because my arm getting tired, but I'm trying to help you here. So now you may have come across some other videos that they use these long acronyms to break down ser versus estar. And different people learn different ways, and that may help certain people, may help you. I don't really prescribe to it because it's just too much to remember. It's a lot of more mental overhead in the Spanish language to go through with it. But I'm gonna break it down to you and let you know about it. So a popular acronym for ser is doctor, okay? Doctor. So for doctor, the D stands for descriptions. And I'm looking at it right here because I don't even remember. D is for description, the O is for occupations, C is for characteristics, T is for time, O is for origin, and R is for relationships. Okay. Now, there is a popular acronym for it to help you remember estar too, and that is place and local. So the P in place stands for position, L is location, A is action, C is condition, and E is emotion. And then local, which stands for locations and conditions. Now, I know that's supposed to be helpful, and not saying that it's not, but that's too much to remember. That's too much to remember, especially out there in the real world. And you're looking at somebody who's been out there in the real world. I've had the heat on my ass. So I've been out there, I know what you're gonna go through. You're trying to process all that stuff. So that's why a lot of times you have to simplify these concepts down to something that you can process real quick. So me trying to stand up there and remember the long acronyms, okay, so the D is for descriptions, occupations, well, characteristics, time, origin, relationships, and estar. What was the acronym? Estar is for two acronyms, place and local. Okay, so place, position, location, action, condition, or emotion, and local is locations, conditions, and then I'm supposed to process all of that and choose out of all of that mental overhead just whether to use a simple ser or the estar. That would drive you freaking crazy. Now again, I'm not knocking it. People learn different ways, but for Rich B, I just have to whittle it down to the gist. For my native English speaking and thinking brain to grasp on to the Spanish thing. So this is how I do it. Let's keep the gist of it. Overarching rule, ser, things that are permanent or lasting, like your name and where you're from, and estar, temporary, okay? So if I say, for a quick example, Not gonna get too deep off to this today. This is more just an introductory video. But if I say my name, soy Ricardo, saying it in Spanish, soy Richard, soy Ricardo. I'm Richard, okay? Now, that's my name. It ain't gonna change no time soon, so it's permanent or lasting, okay? Now, let me give you a quick example using Estar, something that's temporary. I can say, estoy en la tienda. Estoy en la tienda. I'm at the store. Now, I'm at the store now. But later on, I might be somewhere else. You see? So it's temporary. It's temporary. It could change. I could be at the store and somewhere else and at the mall later. So that's the gist of what that means. But just like in all of Spanish, there are curveballs. Get out the sun. There are curveballs. And the curveball is that, like I've said before, learning Spanish is more than, in any language, is more than just about language. It's about learning culture too, at least a little bit of the culture. Because let me tell you, if you do not understand and learn about a little bit of the culture, then you're not really gonna ever really be able to wrap your head around the language. Reason being because you have to understand what frame of mind they're coming from to understand some things. And the reason I really brought this up because there's a curveball in this ser versus starter thing, okay? Now, as a person from the US, native English speaker, we think of something like death as pretty permanent. Once you're dead, you're done, okay? But in the Spanish culture, Spanish language, death is referred to and used with the estar version, the temporary to be, because they, through their lens, they look at death as something, as a temporary trait, something more transitional, okay? It's just a condition they're in right now. So unless you understand a little bit of that culture, you're not gonna understand why they use estar. But I just told you why. So if they say, está muerto, okay, he is dead. And you may be thinking like, why are they using estar? Like he gonna come back or something? Like, no, because they look at that as a temporary state that he's going through right now. It's transitional, it will change. You see what I mean? So that's one of those curveballs that you will find in Spanish. Again, that's why it's good to not only learn language, but learn culture too. And these things will gel in your mind because always remember that Spanish is not a translation of English. It's a whole nother language. It's a whole nother style, it's a whole nother flow. And until you understand this, you will never truly be able to wrap your mind, wrap your head around the Spanish thing. Okay, so that's enough for today. If you don't remember anything else from this video, if you don't take away anything else from this video, just remember the overarching rule. Yeah, there's nuances and there's changes because there are no hard and fast rules in Spanish. Usually there's always some curveballs. But the overarching rule to remember ser versus estar in my book and what has worked for me out there in the real world is ser permanent or lasting, estar temporary. If you just remember that, then you'll be far ahead of a lot of Spanish learners. Stick around, subscribe to the channel because I'll be going deeper in other videos. And as always, remember, you don't have to be perfect, just be good enough.